So, in lesson 8.2, there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to break it down into 2 or 3 days. And the first day we're going to talk about is, first thing we're going to learn about is how to graph a line. If you're given an equation that has an x and a y in it, like this equation, this is an example, y equals x minus 3. This kind of equation with 2 variables in it is called a linear equation, meaning that the equation produces a line on a graph, a straight line on a graph. If it produces a straight line on a graph, or it has 2 variables in it, it's called a linear equation. And so, what we have to do to solve this equation is to find the line. We do that, well, there's a number of different ways to do that. The way that we're going to learn about today is called making a chart, making a t-chart, or using an xy chart. Okay? The first step in that is to solve the equation for y, and then choose 3 simple numbers for x, and you write those down under the x column. So these are going to be the domain of this relation. That's what we learned about yesterday. Then you use those numbers and you put them into the equation for x and solve it to find the y value. So for example, let's say we pick the number 0. 0 is always almost always the easiest number to work with, to find an answer for, because if you're multiplying anything by 0, it's 0. Okay? So, if we put 0 in this equation, look up here, Andrew. 0 minus 3 equals negative 3. And so we put negative 3 over underneath the y, next to the x number 0. Okay? What that gives us is an ordered pair, Danny. What ordered pair? Pay attention.
Okay.
If you don't want to be called on, then eyes up here, okay?
I know.
0, negative 3. This ordered pair, 0, negative 3. These 2 numbers go together to make this equation true. So that's a solution. It's one solution to this equation. Then, we have to find another one. In order to get 2 dots, at least 2 dots in order to draw a line. So let's use the number 4. You can use any one you want, but pick simple numbers. Like 0, negative 1, 1, 4, and so on. Let's use the number 4. So what we would do is write the number 4 in place of the x in the equation. 4 plus negative 3 equals 1, right? So then you put the 1 next to the 4. And that gives us this point, 4, comma, 1. And if we have 2 points, then we can graph it. You can graph these points individually and then draw a line that gives us the solution to the equation. So plot 0, negative 3. How do you do that, Michael? 0, negative 3.
So
Are you watching up here?
yeah, so you go to the 0 and then you go down negative 3.
Good. That's where you put the dot.
Yeah.
0, negative 3. How about 4, 1? Andrew?
You go to the right 4, and then you go up 1.
Good. Right 4, up 1. Then I don't have a straight edge, and it's hard to use a straight edge on here. But you would use a straight edge and draw a straight line through those dots. Put arrows on the because all of these points along this line would be solutions to this equation. That's why the line, or that's why this is called a linear equation. All of the points along this line would be solutions, would make the equation true when you use those 2 together. Okay? Andrew?
So when you say a solid edge, not solid, a straight edge, does it mean like?
Basically,
anything
it's
straight?
Yeah, a ruler, the side of your notebook,
something straight.
something straight, a straight edge. Okay? I'll show you on the worksheet. We're gonna go and do number 1. This is what you're gonna do for tomorrow. So you're given this equation. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 1. Okay? So what's the process? Andrew, sit down. What's the process? We're given 3 values for x. What do we do with these? Maya? What do you do with 0 under the x? Okay, well first we have to find the number that goes with 0. How we find the number that goes with 0? Yeah, put it into the equation and solve it. Right. So the equation here is given. You'll write that down and put 0 in for x. So 3 over 2 times 0 minus 1. Or plus negative 1. What's 3 over 2 times 0 plus negative 1? What does that equal? Jacob?
-1.
Negative 1 equals negative 1. So it gives us this ordered pair. What is the ordered pair? What 2 numbers make the equation true then? Maya? 0 and negative 1. So that's where you write that. 0 and negative 1. And then plot that point on the graph. 0, negative 1. Now go to the next value. Katie?
So then you put -2 in for x.
Good. Put negative 2 in for x. So now you have to multiply 3 over 2 times negative 2. How do we do that? Otto?
Make the what you call it? The 3 over 2 into like a number.
Okay. In this case, that works to put it into a decimal form. Or, if we couldn't do that, we could just use the fraction. Make negative 2 over 1 a fraction, and then multiply the fraction times the fraction. Negative 2 and 2 can be reduced to negative 1, and then multiply 3 times negative 1. Krista?
-3.
Yep, good. Negative 3. And then plus negative 1. So what is the y? Aiden? What is the y value then? Negative 3 plus negative 1. Negative 4. So it's the 2 numbers together. What's the ordered pair now? What ordered pair do we have? Danny?
-2 and -4.
Good. Negative 2 and negative 4. Those two go together to make the equation true. So put that dot on the line, or on the graph. Find the last ordered pair. And then draw the line. This is a straight edge. This is an example of a straight edge. And so, we can draw this line using a straight edge. And the last point that you find should be on that line. Okay? That's what you'll do for tomorrow. Do the same thing for tomorrow. do 1 and 2,
That's it.
okay?